everybody, this is MR140CUTZ, and here is episode 3. Tune in. Alright, so for me, as a, you know what, let's go all the way back. I was born in 91, on the 22nd of August. Me growing up as a kid, on my mother's side, I'm like the baby, you know, especially when I grew up. I was 6 years younger than everybody. And on my dad's side, everybody is close in age to me. So for me as a kid, I was always that jolly kid. I was always that kid just laughing and playing, and the newest dance before TikTok, before IG, you know, the newest dance that came out, I knew that dance. Wasn't afraid to perform, wasn't afraid to do the Michael Jackson. I wasn't afraid to be in front of a mic and sing. Wasn't afraid to go play basketball with anybody. I was more of a energetic child, you know. And also, you know, also when I grew up, we used to always do like different videos of like family functions and things like that, and you would see me in front of the camera just laughing and like, you know, just showing my face the whole entire time. And I would say summer of 1996. Summer of 1996 is when everything changed for me. Summer of 1996, I was molested. And for some people that have experienced that, you know, it does something to you. For me, it went from me being this energetic child to I was more not smiling a lot in cameras anymore. I was more so not energetic as usual. I didn't really kind of want to go anywhere as much, you know. I still sometimes trying to laugh with the people that makes me comfortable, but I was more so distance, you know. I was rather sitting here cool, just being in my own thoughts, in which at that time it created, as y'all see today, my poetry. You know, I went more so silent as a child, and I just started writing a lot. I held in that pain for a very long time. I held in that pain. I'll be 30. Well, no, what? I'm 34. So I held in that pain for all the way, I'd probably say 26. So for me, as a child that had experienced that, and it wasn't my first experience of that. You know, it also happened as well when I was 15. So I got to a point in my life where I got so distant. I didn't want people around me. You know, I was kind of cool to myself, you know. You know, when I was in school, I was kind of sort of just showing face. You know what I'm saying? Just try to smile and stuff like that. But deep inside, man, I dealt with so much depression. I dealt with so much anger. I dealt with, you know, if I felt like somebody was saying something harmful, or somebody was trying to approach me in a way where I didn't feel safe, I found myself very angry. I didn't want to be affectionate no more. I was a kid, you know, I was that little kid that I wouldn't mind giving you a hug. You know, I wouldn't mind sitting here giving you a huge hug, you know, when I see you, you know. But I got to a point where I didn't want hugs no more. I didn't want nobody touching me. You know, I didn't want nobody speaking to me. And just deep inside, I was lost. Uh, yeah, yeah, deep inside, I was lost. I want to get into a certain mental space in my head where my writing kind of, you know, me being a writer was more so my way of kind of expressing that pain. I didn't really know who to talk to at the time. I didn't know who to really speak to in those moments in my life. I really didn't trust. I didn't trust nobody at the time with that type of feeling. I just knew at that time I was in a very dark place. There were moments. There were moments where I didn't feel like I didn't want to be here anymore. You know, the type of feeling of experiencing that as a 4-year-old, then you thinking everything cool, and then all of a sudden you reach your teens and it happens again, and you thinking like to yourself like, why me type of thing, or why the attraction like that occurs. You'll think that, you know, you'll think like, man, there's something wrong with you. To break it down, you know, 4 years old, I was touched by a family member, male, and as a teen, it was a female, much more older than me. But I could truly say, at the time of being 16, I got a little bit more independent. I wanted to be more independent, you know. I really started thinking about different ways of like my purpose and like what was my purpose. Cried so many times at night, cried so many times in my room, you know, crying to God, asking God why, crying to God, asking God like, man, what's my purpose? Crying to God and asking God like, man, why do you have me here? It was at points where I got so deep like that, and I could say I started just moving like that. I started moving. My poetry writing started to be like that. You know, I started to write poetry at the age of 4. So I started to do that. That was a way of me just getting out. By the time I hit 16, I started to really just open up my eyes and recognize like the different struggles of what was going on at home. Kind of seeing the financial struggles of what my dad was going through. So for me to pick up the Clippers at 16, even though we didn't have much, it was my way of like, in the sense of like, you know what, Dad, if I can take the weight off your shoulder type of thing, at least you won't have to sit here, and try to help you keep money in your pocket, or at least if I can sit here and do something, I'll do this. And so for me, picking up the Clippers, it was even deeper because of in that space of sitting here looking at my surroundings, but at the same time, just that years of not saying anything, right? As I said before in episode 1, I did go to Texas Southern University, and was still sitting here cutting people hair in the process. But who I was at that time was a very depressed person, was a very sad person. Like, I did not want to be here. I didn't want to I didn't want to be. I'll just be honest with you. And even though, I was sitting here cutting people's hair, and it was making me feel good and being able to connect with a lot of people, I thought by just embracing everybody, or try to embrace everybody, and just try to become a whole different character in my head of just being a jolly person, it will somehow heal me out of that depression. And it never did. It never did. At that point, it never did. And when I finally had the opportunity to speak, I say the day, I think I was probably 25, 26. While I'm going to a get together with an old friend, and I wound up having a anxiety attack, where I couldn't breathe. I couldn't breathe, and the only thing that I can remember in that moment was me praying to God and asking God. I said, God, if I have a purpose, that was my thing. I said, God, if I have a purpose, I said, man, whatever that's clogging up my lungs from breathing, then allow me to at least throw it up. And in that moment of me praying that, and I kept praying it while I couldn't breathe, and just like that, I started throwing up, and I passed out. When I wound up passing out, I woke up, I was in a hospital, but when I was at a hospital, I was by myself. And when I was by myself, I wound up looking around, and it brought me to a memory of, it brought me back to a memory where I realized that tomorrow is not promised. And let's say, let's say if the table turns and I couldn't breathe, and that would have been it. I would have never had the opportunity or the chance to even speak to my parents, speak to my mom about it, about what I had faced, what I had experienced. And once I left the hospital, while I'm going to my grandmother's house, I appreciate still today, I appreciate my cousin's boyfriend at the time, just talking, picking me up, talking with me at the time, in the car. Oh, hey. But yeah, speaking with me at the time, in the car, just giving me encouraging words. And when I wound up getting at my mother's house, not my mother's house, my grandmother's house, I got to a point at that day to be like, I'm no longer holding in my pain anymore. Whatever I had experienced, whatever battles I have faced, I'm gonna be upfront with them because I can't hold them in no more. And once I text my mother, I was able to speak to my aunt, and was able to cry, get it out. But I tell people it's still a healing process. It's an everyday situation. And from that day forth, I started to look at life a little bit different. I started to look at life in a way of, when people just be laughing and being cool and like when a person tries to laugh and be cool with you, man, do understand that nobody knows what you have experienced. So you can't lash out or feel some type of way. Be upfront to how you feel about that situation and towards that person. And if that person, let me break it down, right? How can I put it? At the time of me sitting here holding those experiences in my head, being at a point of sitting here just always writing about it, and for me to be speaking out about it, emotionally, mentally, spiritually, it freed me. It freed me to be like, all right, cool. Now I can breathe. I also went to therapy. I went to therapy. Spoke to my therapist. My therapist looked me in my eyes and told me, he said, "Man, you was young, man. You was a kid. Like, it's not your fault, and it's not your fault. You literally a kid. Don't blame you." And that's what I used to do. I used to blame myself so much about everything. And, it took a amazing therapist to open up my eyes. In the process of that, right, he told me this. He said, if your 4-year-old self was right next to you, what would you tell your 4-year-old self? And that's when, as I tell people, that's when my poetry went to a whole deep, different frequency, because I had so much to say to myself, and I was just writing, and and I've gotten to a point in my writing that I'm able to dissect every situation, and get more clarity for myself, right? And it helped me. It helped me. It helped me to approach people now. Now I can laugh now. Now I can be silly me. I'm still growing towards it because I'll be truthful. Years of holding it in, years of experiencing episodes and trauma like that. Sometimes it makes you not want to be in front of the camera. I'm still cool in people seeing my writing, or somebody see me do music, or somebody see me cut hair. That's cool, but I can say this. By the time I'll probably say 30, 31. 31 is what woke me back up. 31 is when I got the confirmation of my purpose of sitting here serving, that my purpose in life is to sit here and serve other people. And that's how I'm moving for the rest of my life. I'm able to express my pain, because now I realize that my pain is not just for me to hold on to. My pain is to sit here and help and heal whoever is going through this and still going through it. I was able to express to my loved ones of what I had experienced in my time, but it's still moments and situations where it can trigger that. It can trigger those moments for me. But I still fight through them. I'm still fighting through it. I'm more proud of myself now because I don't crash out. I don't crash out and have to, in a way of I gotta protect myself every night. No, I'm more of a genuine person. I'm more of a person that shows a lot of love. When a person sit down there in my chair, man, it feels way better knowing your purpose, because now when a person sit in your chair, you man, your whole mindset is, man, I wanna be a light in that person's life. I want that person to feel good when they leave. That person may have experienced what I had experienced, or maybe they did not experience what I did, but rather if I'm cutting their hair, 30 to 45, or even if they're doing a hot shade, to add it within an hour, just that moment in time to be able to do a good service and to just bring life to a person's life is important. And this episode is a little bit different because I wanted people to understand that it's more than a cut. I'm gonna keep saying that. It is more than a cut for me. Because I know we all have experienced something. We all have different things and still are experiencing things in our lives. And I just use my platform as a way of bringing light to people. And I'm thankful because by me expressing my pain, it brought power back in my life. When I feel uncomfortable now, because I was so muted for so long, because I was so muted for so long, it made me mute to any time I felt uncomfortable. Now I'm still growing in it. I ain't said that I'm 100% in doing that. But I'm not afraid to take the risk and say, hey, this does make me feel this type of way. I didn't like how you did this. And I give a person the leeway to, either confirm that feeling or express to or clarify, what they said or what they meant by what they were saying to me, or how they was expressing themselves to me. So I'm a super caring person, and yeah, it got me back. It got me back. Like, I got a glow now. I'm able, I'm doing it now. Like, I'm working on doing TikTok now. Like, I go on live. Like, I'm literally getting out of my comfort zone every day. So anytime you see me do these episodes, that's huge for me, because I'm literally coming from being behind the camera to like showing, like literally fighting against my own self, fighting against that child that still lives within, and showing that person within that, hey, we have to heal. You are going to heal, and I'm here for you, type of thing. I started doing something different with my poetry. I showed my face for a change. I started to let people hear me for a change. And I can't say it was a period. It was a period where I felt like, dang, anything that I do or anything that I say just draw people to me in a negative way. And I took that power back. And no, I do have something to say. I do want people to feel comfortable, and I'm gonna break the ice. I'm not gonna wait for people to sit here and not say nothing. Like, if a person sit here come in the shop, I'm gonna greet you. I'm gonna say, hey, how you doing? I'm gonna have a great conversation with you, because understand, every single day I'm fighting against me. Every single day I fight against that situation in which that was poison that made me powerless at the time. I'm fighting against that to continue to be powerful in who I am today. So, to any person that have experienced, I put it like this: you may not have experienced what I had experienced. You may have not ever seen that before, but I know that we all have. But I do understand that we all have a struggle. We all have different battles and hurdles and experiences in our life that can also mentally shield us from growing, mentally, spiritually, drain us from becoming a better version of ourselves that can psychologically hinder us from being more mature and successful people in the world. And for me, I can't say this, even in the moments where I felt powerless. I did graduate. The youngest in my family. It allowed me to love all three of my babies even more. Like I'm clinging to them. Like, I love them, man. It allowed me to. It allowed me to, as far as my circle small. So, and really guard my heart on whoever approaches, knowing how to kind of remove it, just knowing how to remove, to maneuver around particular situations that may make me comfortable, for me, love my mom, love my dad. I call myself more of a dad son type of thing. You know, I have a tire flat, I call my dad. You know, if I have a thought in my head, I call my pops. My pops always tell me to keep God first, get in your word. My grandmother, my grandmother, you know, that's my heartbeat. That's my heartbeat. You know, anytime I feel like I'm emotionally feeling some type of way, uh, you know, she always find ways to breathe life into me. You know, and when I walk away, I feel like a better man. I feel like spiritually, I'm refreshed. Um, as a matter of fact, her, you know, her wisdom, her wisdom over the past years is what got me to being how I am today. You know, where I look at the bigger side of things. You know, where I don't sit here and just bask into my pain and just stay in there. Like it was like I express to any person, when you are suffering, and when you are suffering, man, you feel like you're by yourself. You feel like it feels like the weight of the world is just caving in on you. Damn, I mean, even the moon too. It just added to it, just bring you down until you finally confront your pain and what you have experienced. And just face it. You know, as far as those individuals, have I approached them and speak to them? No, because I'll be honest with you, if it never happens, you know, it's okay with me, because I look at it like this: I needed to heal from it. I needed to grow from it. I needed to get my smile back. You know, all last year, I kept seeing it. I kept seeing smile, smile, smile. I drive on 45 south of Houston. I see a sign say smile. I see 45 north of Houston. I see smile. I see I wound up driving and on a particular street I ain't never drove on. I just see a huge sign say smile, and I look at that as a sign of God just telling me, man, it's time for you to smile again. It's time for you to recognize how blessed you are, how you know, look at where you have came from. Like, you know, look at you. Yeah, you may have lost a lot of things, but you have gained back so much, and that's something to be thankful for. To look at the blessings, to be thankful for being able to sit here and wake up, and be thankful just to have air in your lungs, just to get it right. You may make mistakes in doing it. You may make mistakes. You're going to make mistakes. You may not make every right decision in your life, but just being able to have grace and mercy, and to look in the mirror, to be able to move, to be able to heal yourself, to be able to stand on your own 2 feet and feel your legs, and like being able to recognize all of these different blessings that God have allowed you to have. There's no reason why you should not smile. And I say this to any person right now, man, it's time to start smiling again. And, you know, for me, MR140CUTZ, it has been a journey just to bring this smile back. You know, when a client comes in, it's not a fake smile no more, or just a that type of thing. Like, you actually getting a pure happy, like, hey, how you doing? You know, how can I help you? Because I'm understanding, and I do understand how blessed God have blessed me, you know. And you really do have to look at your life like that, man. You're more blessed than you know. You're more stronger than you think. And for me, I had to recognize how strong I am. And so for me to to for me to sit here every day, wake up with a routine, go through my routine, being able to come to this barbershop, for me to be able to pass my written exam and my practical, that alone is a blessing. You know, the nervousness of what if I fail in my head never came across. It was more of like, when I do pass this, man, this finally gonna help me to get to the next level, the next chapter in my life. And I'm continuing to fight that. I continue to fight sadness. I continue to fight depression. I continue to fight against that. There are days, I'll be honest, there are moments where, yeah, I may not want to get up at all and just lay in the bed. But I have to fight against that, because I know, and you know, I know by continuing to fight and to press on and continue to smile, continue to be in a better version of myself, it's helping out somebody. And that was something that my grandmother had said. My grandmother had told me, man, you may not know, but there is somebody out here looking at you, and you are giving them life, you know, and you put a hope in their life, and you are showing them that they can and that they will. And I put it like this: I don't know who's looking at me on every day. You know, yeah, I post skits, I post my cuts, I post that I'm available at the shop, I post that I'm doing house calls. You know, I post my poetry. If I'm playing my guitar, I post that. I'm gonna be posting this video pretty soon. I do all of these things, but hey, and whoever's viewing it, I don't know who's viewing it, but it may be somebody that always view my stuff, and I bring life in their life. Gotta understand, man, that, you know, when God blesses you, man, it's not just for you to hold on to. It's for you to be able it's for you to have the ability to bless those other people around you. You know what I'm saying? And I look at it like, it feels refreshing to not be in my head all the time. You know? And I'll be honest, like I said, this is a lifetime, of healing. You know what I'm saying? I may have my days. I'll be honest with you. There may be days where I feel down. I put it like this: Father's Day, I did feel some type of way, but I fought against it. You know, I was able to put a smile on somebody's face and just laugh with people. You know, there are days. You know, my grandfather's birthday, July the 4th. You know, he taught me so much. You know, and normally when his birthday, around the time when his birthday hit, and right around the time my oldest son birthday hit, because my grandfather died minutes after my oldest son was born. So around that time, there are moments where I'm in my head, where I'm sad, where I'm depressed and stuff like that. But I fight against it, because I know at the same time, I know my grandfather would look down right now and be smiling with a huge smile on his face, and knowing that, hey, his grandson is out here making things happen. And I'm sure, and the same thing when it comes down to my boys. I know they're smiling, and they are smiling. And I'm sure enough know, once they get to a particular age, that they do understand that, hey, the way Daddy have grind and get up and went after his dreams, that it put hope in their life as well. So, yeah, man, you know. And I put it like this, and this is close to the end of the video. But yeah. One thing, if I could say anything to my 4-year-old self, this is what I tell my 4-year-old self: you gonna make it. You going to find your purpose. You gonna start smiling again. And due to you grinding, you gonna reach levels in your life that you have never that you always imagine, but you're gonna actually reach those areas and goals in your life. Those dreams that you had of accomplishing, you are going to accomplish those things. And that space where you felt like you was just so much in a dark, and that you will never see the light, you're gonna see the light. And that light and when you do see that light, you're gonna go through that light, and it's gonna feel different. It's going to be different, but embrace it. And by you embracing it, it's gonna make you a better you. It's gonna make you a greater you. And you are going to wind up impacting so many people's lives. And don't give up. Don't throw in the towel. Those moments, you going to reach those moments where you gonna feel like you don't want to be on this world. But God got so much greatness. God has so much purpose for you that you're gonna recognize that your presence is worth something, and that you are not only fearfully and wonderfully made, but you're way more stronger than you think. Oh yeah, another thing too, you're gonna get taller. So you ain't gonna be short no more. So people ain't gonna be sitting here talking about, you're gonna be short for the rest of your life. So that moment when you say you got a big car, you're gonna grow, all those people that say that you're gonna be short, you're gonna be taller than them. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, I'm at least let you know that part. And you're gonna have 3 kings that's gonna be looking up to you. And that's gonna love you just like how your daddy and mama love you too. So continue to smile. You still gonna go through that storm. But when that rainbow sit here and show up, just remember everything that I told you. Okay? Thank y'all for listening. As I always say, peace and love. And until next time, peace.